style. So I'll go through one by one the different types of elicitation methods which are widely used. One is document analysis. Let's say if you are developing a insurance software like to issue a policy, so insurance software, you will have like you first take the customer details, and if you are going for an auto policy, let's say you take customer details, then the driver details, and then the vehicle details, and then you add the coverages whatever you want, and then quote it, and then you will get a premium. If the customer likes the premium, he buys the policy, right? This is a simple flow. But while developing the application, there are like hundreds of underwriting rules. There will be an underwriting department which will be working behind the scene, who will be monitoring the policy issuance and policy management all the time. So they'll have a set of underwriting rules, and it might be different for a different state, and etc etc. So you use this technique of document analysis to go through their underwriting manuals. They'll have underwriting manuals where all the rules are written like in paragraphs and bullet points to specify, like let's say if a vehicle is older than like 20 years old, then you have to uh, apply this, or you have to review this policy or something like this. So these are all the underwriting manual rules, and a BA will go through all these rules and adapt them to write the system requirements, business requirements, functional requirements, or system requirements, so that developers can use this to implement the same underwriting manual rules in this automated software system. Okay. So sample documents might be market studies, contracts, RFIs, existing guidelines, training guides, anything. That can be anything. So sometimes the business says, if you are implementing a feature in an application, so they might say that, so like let's take the example of our previous class. If you are developing an account statement to download from the online banking, they say that this is our previous document which we used to generate from our old system, but there are few changes we need here and there. So you analyze that document and make sure that what are all the fields in there, so you have to incorporate the same things in your new document as well, and you take the necessary changes from the customer, where to add a new field or what changes he's asking for. Is he asking for more entries on the same page or something like that, and you document everything. So document analysis is a part of requirement elicitation, where you study, analyze the existing documents or manuals or guides regarding their process, and you interpret them for your requirements, and everything else is same again. So after you document the requirements, go to the business stakeholders for approval. Okay. So this is document analysis, and interviews is another type of elicitation method. So interviews are nothing but it's straight, like it might be one on one, or so basically if you go into a project, when a project starts, if it is a new implementation project, like if they are starting a new, let's say they have like a 30-year-old system developed in that, and if you go to like supermarkets or big stores, you will see the monitors when they are billing, and they doesn't have any like jig bang graphical user interface. They'll just have green screens or black screens with numbers popping up, and they'll be just entering the words, and you won't see anything. Everything will be on the keyboard, right? Anyone observe that?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So if you go into the older, like I don't know, in Canada it will be you see Walmart has a newer version of application, I know, but I think like Sears or Macy's, they might be still using the old ones. Here I go to Hudson's Bay, and they are still using those. They were developed like 40 50 years ago on a system called mainframe. They use mainframes and COBOL programming language to develop those systems. So lot of organizations are still using them. They Some organizations, even though they are using the same system in the backend, for the customer interface they have developed some new colorful screens. But most of the old school organizations, they are still using those old machines which you see with only letters and numbers on that, and they're using bulky keyboards and bulky computers. So they are called, in computer language we call them as legacy systems. Everywhere it is called legacy system. So legacy systems usually are built on mainframe, COBOL, JCL languages. So now in current trend, most of the projects will be either, so a lot of companies, not lot, like everyone in the business, something of considerable size, have already implemented some or other kind of software by now. And if any one of them is going for it, then it will be a new system to replace the old one. So most of your projects will be, when you go for interview also, you should be explaining they are replacing their old legacy system with this new system. If you are going for a guideware interview, you say they have a old policy management system written in an legacy old policy management system, and they have replaced it with guideware policy center. So same thing, you will do this. And whatever, or else there will be, if there is a new company which started its operations like an year ago or 2 years ago, then they might be going for a altogether new implementation. And when you say that we are develop they are moving from legacy to a new software system, so there will be two types of projects again there. So you will be replacing the old legacy system with a new software which you are developing, and the data in the old legacy system also should be brought forward or carried forward into the new system which you are developing. Those kind of projects are called migration projects. So when you are doing a new project, it is implementation. When you are migrating the data from an old system to new system, it is called migration project. And let's say if a company already has guidewire implementation, like let's say they have implemented it 10 years ago with 8.0 version, and now the latest is 10.0. And if you are implementing 10.0 now, then it's called upgrade project. Okay, so just be mindful of three different kinds of projects. One is implementation, altogether a new software product; migration, moving from an old system to new system; and upgrade, same system, newer version of the system. Got it? Okay. So yeah, coming back to the requirement elicitation method. So interviews are the common method of gathering the requirements. So yeah, you take a story card, you go to the designated people. The purpose I actually explained these are, so when you are in a new implementation project or migration or upgrade project, you will be allocated with a set of business stakeholders who should be readily available to you to answer all your questions and to give you the requirements. And you gather the requirements from them using these different types of methods and document them and take the approval from the designated people. If you have like a business team of 4 or 5 people, only one person from that, who is called usually the product owner, will be the approver for your requirements. So even though you gather requirements from all the 4 or 5 people from the team which is allocated, you take the sign off from one particular person, or if sometimes maybe two people also. So this is actually how you work on the requirements and how a project team is allocated from the business side. And interviews is a type of elicitation method where you go interview them. Interview means talk to them, explain this functionality, explain the feature what you are trying to implement, and gather the requirements from them. So there are two types here also. So if you are implementing a product like Guidewire, you already have a feature coming out of the box with Guidewire product when you purchase that. So you explain this feature to him. This is how the Guidewire works out of the box, and gather from them how they want it to be. Do they need any customizations? Do they need any changes to the names of the labels of the fields on the UI? Or how do they need any changes to the sizes, fonts? Everything comes into that. And if it is a new product altogether which is written in Java or .NET, which you are building it in house, then it's different. You find out what all features they need. You come up with a mock-up. They call mock-up or wireframe. That means you, like the other day I said, you just prepare a prototype of what you are trying to look at and show it to them, and take the features and requirements and update them and document them. So these interviews might be with a single person or a group of person. So sometimes it will be like you'll have a scheduled time every day, like every day 10 to 11 or 10 to 12 morning you will have interviews with the business people. So it's a designated time, everyone will join, you will join, you will come up prepared with your notes and everything, whatever you wanted to discuss today. You send an email to them beforehand saying that we are going to talk on this and we are going to get the requirements on this, so they will also come prepared. So this is one. And the next type of elicitation method is observation. So observation is this, we may not be using much of this in our real-time scenario, because it involves observing a business person or end user doing their job on their current system and making notes of how he is doing. Let's say if it is a policy management system, you follow and observe a customer service executive or an underwriter in the insurance company, just sitting them with for like 4 or 5 hours and see how his daily responsibilities are. Let's say if any other customer calls him, how he is handling it, where is he entering his data, how is the data flowing, how is he issuing the policy and everything. So this is one type of elicitation. You observe, make note of everything, and similarly you take them to your table and document them as per the company standards and send it for approval again. Are we good? Any questions?